Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Philip's POV. We're back here with part 3 of working on my BMW E92. Now, as you guys can see, last video we left off actually putting all the body panels on and making sure they're all aligned. So what we're going to actually start doing is getting the hood ready for paint. So today we're actually going to be sanding this down. We're also going to be repairing the little dent that's right here. I'm not sure what happened there, but for the price that we got this hood, honestly, it's gonna be worth doing the body work, just getting it all fixed up so that way we can put it on the car. So we're gonna go ahead and put this inside and you guys will see us kind of working on the car. I'll try to explain here and there what we're doing, tools we're using in order to sand it down and get it ready for paint. So as you guys can see, we just actually made sure to see all of the sections on the hood that have little dips, either low or high points, and we actually managed to sand them down and kind of hit them out. That way they're gone. And as you guys can see, they all are now flat. Everything should be even. We're gonna do probably a bit more prep work to this center spot where that bulge was right here, because that looked the worst out of all of them, but so far it's looking really good. We could also see that someone has already repaired this hood in certain places, because this right here, this darker stuff, is actually Bondo, and there's quite a bit in a few different areas, so hopefully that shouldn't be a problem to get that painted. You guys can see what my buddy just did is he basically sanded the rest of the parts around the areas where he actually kind of repaired them by pushing them up or down, depending on if it was higher or lower. And as you guys can see, all that section, including the glue, that design that you guys saw on the hood is actually glue residue from the previous owner. Now I'm gonna step outside because it is kind of loud out there, but I want to show you guys something on the vehicle itself. But basically what my buddy did right there is he sanded it down, making sure to get all the valleys and all the high points on the hood, basically to be even out, because you don't want a hood that has uneven points everywhere, because as soon as you paint it, you're gonna be able to see it. Now, I just came outside to the car itself. So yesterday you guys saw how we left off. Now I just want to explain kind of our next steps. So let me just turn the camera on and kind of explain about the car itself. As you guys can see, we do have the fenders still on. They're just kind of sitting there. That hood we put on because we don't want the engine bay to get wet from the rain constantly, because we're actually not going to be able to work on this for about a week or two, because we're waiting on more parts. Now, as soon as we get we're missing the condenser, we're missing the fan, and we're missing a few other minor pieces that go in the front. As we get those pieces, we're gonna be coming back here to my buddy's shop, and we're actually gonna finish up doing the paint and putting together the front end just so that it's drivable. I'm gonna get the bumper, the fenders, and the hood painted. Once we have that done, we're gonna make sure that the radiator's on, the radiator support, impact bar, everything that needs to go on for the car to drive. We're gonna basically get it done here, and then we're gonna drive the car down to our place and we're gonna finish assembling the front, including making the gaps as perfect as possible. And then we are gonna start on the interior. So let's keep going inside, working on that hood, and let's get it ready for paint. As you guys can see, my buddy actually put some Bondo right there, here, and this area, and this one. The reason for this is because it's never gonna have that perfect form unless you put the Bondo and then sand it down equally with the rest of the hood. That way it all flows together. So once this dries up, we're gonna be sanding the whole hood itself, and you guys will see how that turns out. So I actually went to pick up some drinks. Union Coffee Bar, really good place for coffee. Just went to pick some up, got my buddy a Whopper. He was kind of hungry. But as you guys can see, while I was gone, I went to pick this food up for my buddy and my brother. And right here you can see that they actually sanded down where the Bondo was. Now this right here looks good. And if I feel it, this is actually all flat. It's perfect. Now, where you see that right there, we're gonna have to put a thin coat and then sand it once again to get it perfect, and then we'll be ready to keep going. As you guys can see, we got the hood sanded right here, here, here. Everything is actually super flat. If I were to run my hand right here, perfectly flat. There's no more dips and ups. It's all just perfectly flat. Looks really good. We're gonna go ahead and blow this off, get it nice and clean. So just to update you guys, what you guys were just seeing is basically I actually used the scuff pad, that little red pad that I was using. Might be a little loud because there is a video going on back there, but I used this little red pad to actually scuff up the underside of the hood. That way it'll be ready to be painted as well. I believe now my buddy is going to actually primer the top of the hood. That's why I got it all wiped down. He's gonna prime the top of the hood, and then later on when it's time to get it painted, we're gonna paint it. Now after we do the primer, we do have to do one more sanding on the top just to make sure that it actually turns out perfect, and then that's when we're gonna actually start painting it. guys can see Tommy the painter right there doing the primer. You guys can kind of see that. We actually got my video working in the background, which is also when we painted my other car. Tommy the painter painting on video, live in action again. If you need any paint work, call this guy. His phone number is 2. We just sprayed a guide coat, which basically means that we spray a black coat of paint lightly on top of the areas that were primed. That way when we sand it down later, we can know which sections are sanded. So as you're sanding it down, the black coat is gonna disappear. That's when you know that you've sanded it to the proper amount and the hood's ready to go for paint.